running in thongs. Hey guys, what's going on? Today I just really want to speak to you about nutrition and how to really make sure that that's something you're staying on top of and can maintain that over a long period of time, because that's the whole premise and goal of training. Is not just, hey, I want to look good for this summer. It's, I want to live a healthy lifestyle, and that's how I approach it, and that's how I want my clients to approach it. I change their mentality sometimes from I want to look like this to I want to feel like that, and I want to live a healthy lifestyle. So that's everything I'm about. And to do that, something I've found is that there's no one answer. Everyone's looking for this magic pill, this way to just be given the answer, and you can't be given the answer. You have to find out what's going to work for you. Some people are shift workers, some people are working multiple jobs. Maybe you're a 9 to 5, but you don't get that 1 hour break in the middle. It's broken up, or you can't consistently have it at the same time. And you need to find out for your schedule, your body, your goals, what's going to work for you, what you like to do, and how to implement it in your day-to-day life so you can maintain that consistency. So there's a couple different methods I like to do, and I change it up, and it'll depend on sometimes the day I have or the weeks that I've got leading up. I can be like, yeah, okay, cool, I know that this is gonna be a really busy time for me, I'll do this method or that method. So the ones I like to cycle through is just tracking macros, plain and simple. Get them where I can. I stay as about an 80-20 or 90-10 split, so that's 80% whole foods, clean, non-processed foods that I'm getting in my diet, and then 20% being a bit flexible. But I mainly try and stay at that 90% and 10% split, so that I'm getting all my fiber, I'm getting all my nutrients, and making sure that I'm eating healthy consistently. And that way, if I have a bad day or there's a Christmas party that we're all coming up to now, it's not an issue, because I know that I'm eating clean, I'm eating well. If I have that one indulgence or it's a special family occasion, that's okay. You know, building relationships and having a good time and making sure that you're living life to the fullest is more important than just making sure, oh no, I've got to get my 500 grams of broccoli, which is ridiculous, and people set unrealistic goals for themselves. So just make sure that you're staying in that consistency and totally enjoying life at the same time, and finding that way of eating is going to mean that you have a way better time dieting or getting and achieving your fitness goals. So like I mentioned, there are a couple different methods that I like to use, and there's going to be more out there, more diets, more fads that you can use, but these are just a couple I like to cycle through and do them well for a set amount of time, or implement them when I know that my days are changing or something comes up, so I know I can fall back on that and maintain my consistency. So number one, something I found when I was living in England was, because of the day I had cycling to school and generally not getting a chance to eat until the afternoon, I started intermittent fasting. And it took me a while to train my body to do that. I was eating about, starting about 6 AM, and then my last meal would be about 9 o'clock at night. So I slowly made my breakfast later, and that eased that transition. I didn't go cold turkey from eating breakfast at 6 AM all the way to changing that to eating it at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which I ended up doing. I made it 7 o'clock, and after I cycled into school, then I ate my breakfast, or morning tea, then I ate my breakfast, and then lunchtime was when I actually ate my breakfast, which was about 1:15 from memory. So I eased myself into that transition, and from there I would have the 8-hour window. So intermittent fasting, if you didn't know, was a set prolonged period of time within a day that you fast for. So typical split is 16 hours fast, 8 hours of eating. So you get all your food in that 8 hours. And that worked really well for me, because I'd start with a light meal of berries and nuts, just because I was easy to take, put it in a Ziploc bag and done. Didn't have to worry about it spilling in my bag or anything. And then I got to come home and cook fresh meals and eat fresh meals, and I could make whatever I wanted, and I didn't have to meal prep or do anything of that. I just ate fresh, and it was great, loved it. So that worked really well for me while I was over there. And it's something that I could easily implement in my day. Once I trained my body to be like, hey, you can go 16 hours without food, don't freak out. It was really easy. Something else that I like to implement is sometimes I'll go, okay, I want to actually sort of kickstart my metabolism more, and I'm actually struggling to get larger meals in the small amounts of time that I now have. So this is something I was using a couple months ago, and have been swapping with intermittent fasting now. I'm actually using both this method and intermittent fasting, depending on the day, is 6 meals a day. Just getting as much food as I can, as often as I can. So I actually start eating at 6 in the morning and finish eating at 9 o'clock, like I was saying I used to do. But I plan out my meals a lot more to make sure I'm hitting my macros. Typically start with that high protein, high fat breakfast, low carb, only getting the carbs through vegetables. And then I'll eat my first lot of actual carbs like rice, potatoes, sometimes rice cakes, at about lunchtime or just before I start training. So I'm trying to still keep my body insulin sensitive, which also helps burn fat for those that are wanting it, but it's also keeping you awake, because if your body's burning fat, you're actually more alert. So that's awesome, and I like to reap those benefits when I'm trying to work at my hardest. I know that most of my work day, if not all of it, is I'm burning fat and I'm more alert. I really like that. The transition's a bit hard, but once you've got it, love it. Wouldn't never go back. Whenever I eat carbs in the morning, I just feel shocking. So that's 6 meals a day. I will be showing you guys in a future video how I did that, what I actually did during my work days, even though I'm now on holidays. But I'll show you how that broke down. So a lot of people have this foreign idea of having huge meals 6 times a day, and that's all well and good if you're a huge, heavy, lots of muscle bodybuilder. But for us regular people that aren't actually at that peak level and that peak performance, we don't need that much food. So you actually break it down into smaller meals and you just eat them more frequently. So the biggest thing there that I found is making sure those meals are consistent, trying to hit those times of, yep, every 2 to 3 hours just having that next meal. But also changing it up. Don't be afraid to actually eat what you want. And if you're not sticking to your meal plan, then reaccount for that and go, okay, basically just working around it. Recognize you've done that and go, that's cool. Now I know I need to eat this later on. That's decisions and self-discipline that comes into it. Another thing I like to do is the odd OMAD, so 1 meal a day. Now this comes from any sort of huge family event or gathering, get together. If I know I'm going to be fed a huge meal, then I'm definitely going to try and restrict what I've eaten during that day. So I'm not eating 3,000 to 5,000 calories, because if I'm being made food, typically by parents or family, I don't know what's in it, and that's cool. It's always healthy, but I don't know what's in it. I don't know how it's been made, and I'm not gonna weigh it for sure. I'm just gonna fill up my plate. I'm gonna have all this amazing food that my family makes, because they are just awesome cooks. So I'm not counting that at all. I'm just going to eat, and I'm going to enjoy these lovely home cooked meals that you kind of miss after you leave home. You know that you're going to eat that good food. You're not going to sit there and play it safe, and no, you're going to enjoy yourself. So I always make sure that I am definitely leaving as many calories as I can for that. I don't really do the alternate day fast or a 24-hour day fast where I actually have planned days that I won't eat for the entire day. Typically because for me, I am quite active. So even if I'm not training, I'm walking tons. I am on the go. I'm dealing with work or other issues, or I'm helping people move because I have a ute and always seem to get roped into that, which I love, but whatever. But yeah, because I'm so active, I just find it's a bit uncomfortable for me. I'd rather have, you know, I can last until night, but I'd like to go to bed on a full stomach rather than having an empty stomach and struggling to sleep. But that's just me. There are some great benefits for alternate day fasting or 24-hour fasting, and if it's something you want to do, then you absolutely can. I would just make sure that you're always sipping on water and making sure that you're hydrated at least, so your body's not struggling to actually make everything you need. Of course, you want to be safe with it and do it under a trainer's guidance, and make sure you're visiting your healthcare professional before trying any of the diet trends or fads, or even just the new way of eating, just to make sure that for your body and your health, you're safe and fine to do that. That's basically it, guys. It's my little nutrition spiel of this is a couple things I do, and you're going to see that in a couple of the videos that I bring out now that I'm on holidays, and hopefully I'm going to get internet. So yeah, anyway, that's it for me. Thanks for listening to my little spiel about random nutrition, and I'll probably touch on it more when I am showing you my full days of eating using these different techniques. But if there's anything that you got a question about or want to know more about, put a comment below or shoot me an email and I'll get back to you, or I'll put it into another video and actually explain or answer your question in further detail if needed. Anyway, thanks guys. If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more. Catch you later.